introduce yourselves.
I'm Hannah.
And I am Marie.
We are best friends who run a little witchy business, which is where the interview is being held today.
Okay. How are you today?
Excited?
Excited.
Nervous, as we always are before
Yeah.
live.
Yeah, it's a work day today. It's a busy weekend, so it tends to be full of lots of busyness, lots of excitement, but we usually find come 10 o'clock tonight we're pretty well exhausted when all the fun is over.
How did you meet each other?
We're a crystal group. I think then, it's like I've known you forever, haven't I? But it's only actually been a couple of years, hasn't it? So a mutual friend of ours was selling crystals, and we were both customers.
And I was sort of selling crystals.
Yeah, you were selling a little bit of crystals on the side, and I was doing some crafts on the side, and then we sort of all just come together. And
we sort of met through her online on Facebook, really, and we started talking through Facebook. And then
you ordered a witch from me.
I did order a witch from you. I think I ordered one for the whole family.
You did, yeah.
And then we
swapped. We swapped witches for crystals.
That was it. Yeah, we did a trade. We did a trade. And then sort of a few of us sort of met, didn't we, at Arnifell Cemetery for coffee. And yeah, the rest is history. Here we are running a business, a witchy business, with lots of different avenues. Speaking to each other far too many times each day, both business and life. It's been quite an adventure. Lots of ups and downs in personal lives and stuff as we've gone along the way, but here we are now.
Okay, how did you find out about witchcraft and Wicca and paganism?
Okay, so I was always more alternative as a youngster. There used to be a couple of sort of esoterical shops in Bristol Centre. I used to go and visit them quite a lot in a little place in St. Nick's Market. I used to go down on my own quite a lot visiting them, but I didn't really know what it was. But I was very much, I had lots of nature books, things like that. I was always burning incense. I didn't own tarot at that time, it was too expensive, and crystals were too expensive because I was quite young. And then you sort of not so much grow out of it, but you try to fit in. You try to fit into your peers and stuff, things around you. And school happened, and then I met Klaus's dad, and then we had a family, we bought the house, etc. And then as Klaus got a bit older, I tried to get Klaus interested in it, and then I found
I think like a few years ago, 2019 or 2018, I went into Wicca and I told you about it. Like at first I was worried you were going to be like, just a bunch of rubbish.
Oh no, I was I was fully invested in it, and now I have a huge collection of crystals, tarot, oracles,
friends,
community, books, even my friendship group, my boyfriend, everybody's just very much in tune with that sort of pagan, Wiccan nature side of things, and then the next thing you know, we were running a business, and I gave up a 22-year career in the NHS to run a witchcraft business. But here we are, we're doing okay.
How did I get into witchcraft? Well, I was actually pretty much born into it. My mum's side of the family, all witches. My mum, my aunties, my nan. As far as I know, as far back as it goes, it was very much a family of witches. On my dad's side, it was very Christian. And so there was some conflict and back and forth. I can remember being forced into Sunday school quite regularly as a child.
I remember those days, yeah.
I can remember being the one who was always being told off for questioning. I wasn't often invited back. But no, so for me it was always just a part of life. But again, very much I sort of grew up, had children, became busy with life. It was always simmering in the background, but not so much at the forefront. And then the children sort of got older, a bit more independent, and it was time for me to rediscover myself and my path again.
Okay, do you want me to go first?
What?
Okay. I think COVID, and I've had this conversation a lot with other people, is that as much as it was a scary time and there was a loss of life and a loss of business and lots of reasons to feel very negative about it, I actually feel it's brought positive change to people's mindsets and how people think about things, to the point where we realise that we don't need to work a ridiculous amount of hours. We don't need to follow a pattern or a system. That actually people suddenly was able to breathe again, for want of a better phrase, really, and live a much more natural life, a much more holistic life. And it certainly made lots of changes for me. Probably at the time, sort of going through the difficult sort of relationship and knowing that I wanted different, and I wasn't really ready to continue going back to that office wall. Really being still. I mean, I love my time in the NHS and I love my time with the people that I've met and the skills I've learned, but I didn't want to go back and sit on a computer between four walls, and I just don't think I can do it now either. So I think it's brought a lot of changes. I think as a collective, we're all looking at things a little bit differently and knowing that we only get one life and we want to spend it doing much more happy things, constructive things for our mental well-being as well, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think, again, much like Hannah, just before COVID hit, I was going through quite a tough time. I had 3 children, 2 of which were refusing to attend school. There was appointment after appointment. There was serious anxiety and mental health going on. Just a couple of weeks before the first lockdown, I had a pretty serious and heavy bereavement, and I lost someone very, very close to me. So lockdown came, and I think I struggled a little bit at first, but I found a peace within myself, and so did my children, and we found almost like a different way of existing together. I think it brought us together more as a family. Definitely, we had that quality time together. It wasn't just a rush, run around. Yeah. So yeah, again, I think it did shift a lot of mindsets, and we come out, I think, much stronger the other side.
Yeah, I certainly, if I look, I feel like I'm a very different person from before lockdown to where I am now. And there's obviously been a lot of changes going through that, but oddly, I think we've come out, as many of us may have well come out of it as better people.
I don't think I ever fully come out of lockdown mode. And we've had this conversation before lockdown. I used to be out a lot. I was quite always visiting friends, always going to places. Since then, I'm quite a recluse. I'm quite happy at home.
I'm generally more a sociable person, so to me, I did struggle with not seeing friends and things like that. However, I mean, I'm sort of staying a little bit more now, but that's just because life is, it's a nice little life, really. Just cracking on with witching, picking vegetables out of the ground, witching.
Alright, so we've pretty much talked about witchcraft for the past 15 minutes, so I'm gonna move on to a different subject. It's a little bit different. Apart from Wicca, witchcraft, paganism, things like that, what would you say your hobbies and interests are? Books, and more books. And writing and books.
Mostly related to witchcraft.
yeah. There's a high portion of that which can be quite related to witchcraft and goddesses. But, I mean, like, currently I'm reading a couple of books. One's sort of around, one's called If Women Rooted, which is sort of about how us as women are really sort of very much more nature-based and things like that. And I'm also reading another one called The Happy Nomad, so sort of caravan in life and that sort of thing. But books, whatever books, can be witchcraft, historical fiction, factual books. I just love that sort of information, and getting outdoors. I think in all kinds of ways. Recently been bike riding with my younger son. That kind of stuff. I just absolutely love being where it's green.
You've been doing a lot of like cross stitching as well, haven't you?
I've been doing a bit of cross stitching, while Jake's been there sewing up his biking clothes that he's making, and like an old couple sat on the sofa. But it's definitely, I'm definitely going through a much more creative phase, or whatever that might be. But again, because social media, and I've always been massively into social media, but even I find I take a step back from it now, and it is just a reason to do something that isn't on your phone scrolling, because the business does bring us to do a lot of scrolling, and a lot of business conversations being online, computers, phones, and so on. So I found a contentment in me that's very much enjoying, just down to simple little things, whether it is witchy stuff like making, you know, spell jars or whatever else that might be, to just cross stitching or writing a poem. It's just good for the mind.
Absolutely. What does life mean to you?
You can go first. Yeah.
So for me, again, I think it just comes back to that living authentically, doing what's right for me and my family, obviously, at any given point. It's making the most of each day, and just trying to be me and be happy.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. And I sort of like going sort of back to that conversation, is that what I would have thought what life was meant to be 20, 30 years ago is very different to what I do now and feel now. And I think with what you've just said, very much just enjoying those natural things in life, coming away from the concrete jungle, taking those little walks, you know, because one day you're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Taking in just the sound of the rain, you know, the thunder comes, things like that, and just taking every part of it in your stride.
Definitely. Yeah. Even the bad days are here to teach us something, aren't they?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna put my own 2 cents in, because I think this question is actually really interesting. Personally, I think life doesn't have a meaning, but by saying that, it gives it meaning. Like, nothing in itself is a meaning, and life is basically just like your experiences as a person. You're in a universe experiencing itself, and I don't think there needs to be a meaning to life in order to enjoy it. Saying life has no meaning, you are by proxy giving it a meaning.
I think the way I look at that is we forget that actually we don't owe the earth anything. We are just part of the landscape, just as everything else. So we don't owe, you know, we're, as humans, we have the ability to do more than animals in terms that, you know, create the world that we live in now. But we sort of have
do a lot more damage, though, don't we?
Exactly. And I think we sort of go, well, you get one life on Earth. You get one life. So what are you going to do with it? You have to make it worthwhile. And I think that's completely true. But I think because of the way the world's turned around, is that we now feel that Earth owes us something, and that to make yourself worthwhile is actually more in an economical way, a financial way, a materialistic way, than actually learning to live on path with that. And if your achievement in life is just to build a mud hut and live in it, and that makes you happy, then so be it.
Yeah.
I think there is like a huge pressure on people, and especially young adults, that need to make something of themselves and do something that matters in this world, when in reality, what matters is that you're happy and you're doing something that makes you happy, like you said. And just don't listen to what people say. Be you, be happy, and yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say for that.
And I think if people live by that motto, there'll be a lot less people struggling with mental health.
Definitely.
Alright, to finish off, is there anything you'd like to say?
I would like to say thank you, because actually you doing this has just allowed us to sort of stop and slow down and appreciate.
We've had a little bit of
together.
I think we've had a little secret laugh
giggle.
known this, but I would no doubt analyse and digress afterwards.
And always just to be happy and be yourself.
Yeah. And witch out.
And if you need a crush, you know where we are.
Yeah. And just enjoy the good things. And yes, thanks, Klaus.
Okay. Poppy, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Poppy. I'm a media student. In my spare time I like illustration. It sounds like a classified ad. I don't know. Sorry.
It's being poked with a stick right now.
I'm being poked with a stick by someone. Is that in shot?
The stick is, yeah.
The stick. Okay, we can cut this off later.
Okay. What are your interests and hobbies?
I like art a lot, like all art, but especially illustration and fine art. I like reading. I like writing. I like not being poked with a big mouse stick. You can cut that out.
I probably won't.
Okay. I don't know. I used to play guitar. I don't really play guitar
nice.
anymore.
Poke you with a stick next
What
to
was I
class.
say?
Yeah.
I'm about to be poked with a stick now. Yep.
You're
Okay.
never gonna get a job in this industry. Ever.
Probably not.
Sorry. That was really mean. I'm not practicing what I preach.
Overall, just like in general, what are your favourite memories?
All my favourite memories ever.
Whoever like means the most to you.
I remember being little and doing a lot of painting, with my sibling Nemo especially. Like you get crayons and you get paint and you can like paint on each other's like backs, and you can like I'd copy pictures from books and stuff. That was very nice. One time I did write "kick me," but I felt really guilty about it.
This is where I would poke you with the stick.
Yeah, I know. Another really favourite memory for me would be last year when I went interrailing with Jamie, my friend at the time, now my girlfriend, which was really, really lovely. But especially when we were in Prague, we went to this restaurant that was on a boat, and it was really nice. Yeah.
What does life mean to you?
I don't know. I guess I genuinely don't think about it that much because life is for living as it happens.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, which I've not generally been very good at, but I'm giving it my best.
Okay, to finish off,
Yep.
do you have anything you'd like to say?
Not really, and I'm sorry this has not been a terribly compelling
It's
interview.
alright.
And
It's about everyday people.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be casual, and that's what it's been.
yes, exactly.